I got no sleep. I gotta do the ride out tonight. I think Bobby's on the mainland. Please tell me I'm not the only BMX guy there today. Anyway, let's see. It should be going now. Let me just check the stream monitor. Oops. Online. Yeah, Twitch as usual is screwing up. That's all right. Okay. Let me switch to. Oh, flip my camera again. Why does this thing keep flipping my camera? Driving me nuts. Here we go. Okay, so this is I'm gonna attempt to whiteboard here, and I'm not exactly good at this. A lot of people keep asking. Remember, I'm not a scientist, right? I'm not definitely not a super duper expert. A lot of people are getting these testing wrong. I have to be really careful about what I say because the forces of YouTube and Facebook and Google especially really don't like science communicators, and they will bust us whenever they can. So you guys know what we're going through over the last couple of years, and you know what disease we're talking about. I'm just not allowed to say it. So at the beginning of this thing, we had the Pcr tests, which were they would look for a sequence of code as if I understand right, they were looking for a short snip of DNA or RNA of proteins, and of course that led to speculation that this thing could live for forever out of your body or whatever. I think it was said 17 days on this pole on one of those ships on maybe a handrail. Sorry guys, I'm not a doctor, and I have to be really careful about how I say this so I don't lose all my channels. So the way these things detected it, they were so sensitive that, we don't know if that stuff was still capable of infecting you or anything. Could be. And at the beginning, we were very cautious. We brought in hypochlorous acid sprayers right away. We did a lot of stuff. So, I mean, that's a really very accurate test. I think if somebody's out there that really understands this stuff, please tell me. It's called like the C value or whatever. How many times you would run the same test before it actually show that sequence of proteins. So like the higher the C value, the less of the I can say virus, right? I'm allowed to say virus. I think I'm allowed to say virus. How much virus the higher the C value, the more virus needed to be in your body to be detected, basically. Again, there's a million caveats to this. But what really I think matters to us is, getting back to life. So let's just say there's this line here. Okay, and I'm trying to learn how to use my Wacom at the same time. So we're gonna go. So we have a little curve up, curve down. Now, this line here, I think maybe I can do a different color. Hold on, I don't really know how to use this, but let's make this red. Yay, red line. Okay, so red line is. Can I type? How does this work? Add text. Okay, much better. I'm not gonna write this very well. That's why. So the red line is the threshold of detectability. Let's say. The idea is, well, I shouldn't paint this green. Let me pick another color. I'm going to pick blue. Okay, so the idea is that up here is this line. I'm going to call this the threshold of transmissibility. Let's see. I need to map this. Anybody know how to use these Wacom things? I need to map this to the thing a little bit better than I would. Transmissibility. I don't know if that's really the word you're supposed to use, but so this line is the threshold of transmissibility. So you audio guys out there, you're going to get this right away. This is a noise gate, right? This is basically a noise gate. Hopefully you can see my mouse pointer. I'd really love to make this mouse pointer like gigantic. I'll learn that later. Sorry, I'm always trying to learn something. The PCR test can test it down here somewhat, right? But we're thinking that you need to have this much viral load in order to spread this thing. So it doesn't matter if you're this sick or if you're this infected. If this is your viral load down here, for the most part, it doesn't matter. You can go to school, you can go to work, as long as you're below this blue line, right? That's the point. So when Michael Mina was talking about the lick-a-stick tests, which famously were completely dropped the ball by 2 administrations now, representing both parties, and here in Hawaii, we have no industry, maybe tourism, sort of. This was a chance to really put us on the map. I mean, this would have been great. There was a local company who did develop some stuff. It's not like Michael Mina's lick-a-stick, but the point was to have something really cheap that you could take every day before work or before school, so you didn't mess other people up, you know, basically. So you're not spreading this thing. You're not creating new variants. That's the point of these tests. If you need to know exactly who's carrying it, you need this super duper PCR test, whatever. But then there's a caveat to, again, there's another caveat. There's a very good chance that you can show positive on a PCR and not really still be infected. But I mean, that's an argument. It's just something to keep aware of. But the other problem here is, how far are these two apart, right? We've had some variants lately where this, in the same day, you go from here to here, you know? I mean, of course, you're in the same day, you're going to go from here to here. But I mean, like, very quickly, you would go from detectability to transmissibility. That, you're going to have to be a little bit more paranoid, right? And also, which direction are you going? Are you taking the test right here? So tomorrow you could actually be above the transmissibility, or, you know, whatever. Or are you taking the test right here? Are you taking the test right here and tomorrow you won't be transmissible? That's why these things need to be cheap enough where you take them every day. And that was the whole point. That was the Michael Mina thing. That was the lick-a-stick thing. That was the thing proposed to the powers that be in Hawaii that just dropped it. Could have. Sorry, we got so many people out of work. It would have been great to get this going, you know. But this is really what it is. So when you guys are when you see somebody say, "Oh, those stupid tests aren't accurate," it's what are they accurate for? So you audio guys, again, let's say this is a noise gate. Here's your threshold right here. You want it to pop open whenever there's a sound, or is this how loud the snare drum is down here? This is how loud the kick drum is up here, the blue line. So you want to gate out anything that's below the blue line, even though it would trip the gate above the red line. I mean, if you want to think about it that way, that red line would be your noise. This is the stuff you don't care about. It could be an active infection, but it's not enough load to, allegedly, it's not enough load to transmit in most cases. That's where we're setting the noise gate. We don't want a snare drum popping open the kick gate. We don't want a hi-hat opening the snare gate. We only want to hear that snare. We only want to hear that particular drum. And this curve, this area of the curve at the top here, is that drum, right? So, at least in audio terms, I think you understand why they talk about the sensitivity, the less sensitivity. And okay, for the pedants out there who are going to fry me for this, yes, I know specificity and sensitivity, but in this case, I'm just talking about what the load is before this thing gets detected. It could be wrong. It could not be specific enough, whatever, but I don't want to get super far in the weeds. It's just the part we care about is up here in the curve. That's the part where it transmits. This part down here, this is your noise. This is your hi-hat in your snare mic. You don't even want to hear this stuff. It could be there in the population. For epidemiologists and all those people who need to study that kind of stuff, the big numbers of this disease, they do need to care about this down here, whatever's detectable. But for us to get back to living our lives, the rapid tests should be up here. And I've actually been taking them a couple times a week now, so I'm getting to see this myself. Not really around people much, I think. So I probably okay. I've been okay every time, but it's interesting seeing it for yourself. You know, I haven't ever taken a PCR test. I think my cousin did, my uncle did. Oh man, I don't want to take that. That sounds horrific. But anyway, I hope that this makes some sense. This is the part we care about up here above this blue line. That's the part where you're getting other people sick. That's what we should be testing for in most cases. I mean, if you're going to go for a transplant or something, you know, make sure then you really got to watch. But I don't know what you're going to do about it anyway. It's actually, I'm really scared about a family member because of this. But when some meathead preacher tells you, stupid test, it's not sensitive enough. It doesn't do nothing. It's the devil's work, whatever they say. This is what they're doing. This is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to check to see if you are carrying enough of a load to infect other people and ruin somebody else's life. You're free to ruin your own life, you know. But you're going to come into my place. I would hope that you're okay. I mean, we don't have any super strict protocols here, but we're being very sensible as much as we can. You know, we're doing shows, and it's a little bit of a concern. But I think we're being smart. Anyway, that's not about it. This is about understanding the difference between the threshold of transmissibility or infectivity or something and the threshold of detectability. They're two different things, just like on your noise gate. You want to get rid of the noise. It depends what you want to read. You know, you don't want any. You want to detect any if you're if you're doing studies or whatever. But anyway, I probably just lost all my channels because of this, but I didn't use the word, so hopefully they're not really going to bust me, but I will see you guys.